yet.
If what's good for the gander is good for the goose, and you think that regions and cities should be considering their asset portfolio at the moment, should central government be doing the same thing? Would you support targeted asset sales?
We don't have an electoral mandate for that. We said before the election that we would not be.
An electoral mandate, like smoke-free 2025, like the ferries, like tolling a road in the Manawatu that you back down on, all those things you had an electoral mandate for. And he's about to say this term, which of course is the classic line.
Asset sales?
We don't have an electoral mandate for that. We said before the election that we would not be engaging in asset sales in this term of Parliament, so we don't have an electoral mandate, so you won't see anything happening on this side of the election. As to what the National Party decides to campaign on for next year, those are matters for next year.
Is that something that personally, though, you think there's a good argument for central government, especially given some of the revenue and fiscal pressures at the moment, to consider asset sales?
Speaking generally, I don't think the Crown is a particularly effective manager of its own balance sheet right now. But as I say, those are questions for next year.
There you go. A nice in between. Nothing to see here, but there might be something to see next year. But there's nothing to see here. But wait till next year. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing new under the sun in some ways, right? This will be the third successive national government that's come in, cut taxes, said, "Oops, the books don't balance anymore. We better sell some assets." And that's if they get re-elected, he's saying it. I mean, they'll campaign on it. But if they're re-elected, then expect what's left of our assets to go.
Do you think we've got? Sorry. Do you think we've got assets that we should be more concerned about selling than others, like power, for example?
Definitely the power. Yep. I think we need big reform in the electricity sector, and if we've sold off those assets, that'd be all the more hard. I think that they keep on talking about core logic, isn't it? Rateable value. You know, why do we own a property ratings company? You see National Net saying, well, because the determination of the value of the property is what underpins the finances of local government. So it is actually important that we have some public control over that. But yeah, I think anything that's not nailed down, basically, you know, they're looking at getting quite inventive at even what they're calling tolling concessions, where you would take an existing state highway, say to a company, if you give us a chunk of change now, you can toll this road for the next 40 years, and we'll use that money to go build another road. They call that asset recycling, but it's an asset sale, right? And all of a sudden, a road that has been built and paid for by taxpayers is now a toll road. They're in fact changing the law to allow that, because previously you haven't been allowed to toll existing roads, and you've always had to have a free alternative. But National's changing the law around that. So yeah, they'll be quite inventive about what they sell, but I expect a lot of it. Yeah, Kaingaora, another great example. A lot of properties there, they love hocking them off. They did it last time, and they'll do it again if they get half a chance. Yeah, and they're obviously trying to force the councils to sell. You know, they've lumped huge costs onto the councils by cancelling Three Waters, and now they're turning around to the councils and saying, also, you're not allowed to raise rates. So your costs have gone up. You're not allowed to raise your revenue. What are you going to do? You're going to sell your assets, and it's exactly what they want them to do. It's just part of their formula.